What's good, everybody? Welcome back to Not a Movie Buff. Now, before we jump in, let me go ahead and say this right up front. This isn't a full episode. It's not even close. Today is just a quick review, something light and short, because Zootopia 2's dropped, and you already know I had to show up for this one. So, think of it as a little bonus, a snack, a side dish. The main course is still coming on Thursday. So, Zootopia 2, let's get it. All right, so I'm going to be completely honest. When the first Zootopia came out almost a decade ago, I wasn't excited at all. I didn't care. I wasn't looking to watch the movie. I honestly didn't watch it at all for years, but a coworker, he just asked me to watch it, do a review. So I did. And once I finally did, y'all, I fell in love with that movie immediately. It became one of my top Disney movies of all time easily. So when they announced the sequel, I wasn't waiting 8 years again. I was right there on opening night, and I was ready. Now, Zootopia 2 does something that a lot of sequels do these days. It picks up right where the first movie ended, even though, in real life, 8 years have passed. And normally, that kind of thing, it throws me off, but they do give you a quick little recap at the beginning, so you're not super lost. It just doesn't quite flow as smoothly. It just doesn't quite flow as smoothly as something like Incredibles 2, which handled that long gap perfectly. But honestly, that's just me being nitpicky. It doesn't hurt the movie, but it does touch the world building just a little bit. Luckily, Zootopia 2 doesn't have to rebuild its world. The first movie set the foundation beautifully, and the sequel really all it had to do was expand. And it did it. The lore feels deeper, the city feels bigger, and you can tell that they were ready to tell a new story without having to explain every little thing again. So here's the basic setup, and don't worry, y'all, there's no spoilers. But Zootopia 2, it takes place 1 week after Judy and Nick close their first big case together, the case from the first movie. They're partners at the police department, and honestly, y'all, they're struggling. Not because they don't like each other, but because their personalities are completely different. So the chief tells them either go to partnership therapy or I'm gonna separate y'all. And from there, that's where the real story kicks off. They stumble into a new mystery that forces them to dig into Zootopia's past and the truth behind what kept certain animals out of the city. The interesting thing here is how they handle discrimination this time. In the first movie, it was predator versus prey, very blatant. But in this one, it's present, just quieter. Judy and Nick, they aren't being bullied for being a fox and a bunny. They're getting judged for being rookies or not real cops. You have animals that feel threatened. They're projecting insecurity and picking at the wrong folks. And y'all know how it is. It happens in real life at every job. Something I really liked is how flawed both Nick and Judy are at this time. Nick, he still has those con artist connections, but he's using them for good. Judy wants justice, but she's also stubborn and thinks she's always right. Both of them struggle with their emotions, and it affects their work and their friendship, and honestly, that's relatable. That's what makes him feel real. So let's talk about the story because y'all, it is good. I mean, really good. Like, I enjoyed it from beginning to end. I'm going to be honest, it didn't hit as hard as the first one for me. The first Zootopia had that wow moment, that twist that caught me off guard. But this one, I saw the villain coming early, like extremely early. Not even 30 minutes in, I'm leaning over to my wife and I'm like, yo, I'm going to call it later on in the movie. I'm going to be right about this. And I was. And it's not that the movie's bad, it's just that the villain setup is predictable. You just know when a character, how they're introduced in the movie, you just know that they're going to be a villain. And that's what we're dealing with here. But even with the predictability, the movie, it still hits because everything else is strong. The characters, old and new, they're fantastic. Ke Kwan as Gary the Snake, he killed it. His character's hilarious, committed. Honestly, he stole the show every time he appeared. The Linksley family, big personalities all around. You have Adam Sandberg voicing Robert Linksley, and yo, he had me cracking up. David Strathairn as Milton Linksley, strict fatherly energy all the way through. But listen, y'all, Quinta Brunson as Dr. Fusby, the perfect casting, like absolutely perfect. She fit the role so well. It's like it was written specifically for her as Janine from Abbott Elementary. Gazelle, yeah, She stole a few scenes from me too. She was better in this movie than she was in the last one. And speaking of scenes, the movie is funny, y'all. I'm not talking about, the kids will laugh funny, but everybody and their mama in the theater was laughing. My wife and I, we were cracking up the entire time. The jokes landed, the timing was on point, the wordplay was clever. They even threw in some references to older movies again that had people in the crowd doing that little, oh, okay, I see you laugh. And the mob storyline, chef's kiss. If you loved Mr. Big in the first movie, you'll love what they do with him here. The man came back like he never left. He's older now, a grandfather, but he is still that dude. Like I said it in my written review, I'll say it again. He gave me Sonny Corinthos vibes the entire time. If y'all don't know who Sonny Corinthos is, check out General Hospital on ABC. Phenomenal show. But what really sticks with me in this movie, it was the emotional core. The first movie, it taught us about prejudice. It taught us about challenging discrimination and treating each other with respect. This movie deepens that message. It's about healing and restoring what was broken, letting truth change the direction of a community. And without spoiling anything, there's a moment where Zootopia finally becomes whole. And that message, it hits. Now, does that mean that the movie is flawless? No, not at all. It's not perfect. The predictability does knock it down a little, but it's still a beautiful story and it's hilarious from start to finish with a cast that absolutely delivered. So the real question is, how beast is Zootopia 2? With great characters, a fantastic story, and themes that actually mean something, I'm giving it 3 out of 3 claw marks. But the actual number score? I gotta go with an 8.5 out of 10. It's an amazing movie. It is a little predictable, but it is still absolutely worth seeing, and you better believe I will be watching it again. I want to thank you all for listening to this quick review. I appreciate you all so much, and y'all remember, if there's anything that you know about me, I may not be a movie buff, but I'll see you at the movies.